So we'll go ahead and got it. And bring in the sacred silencio, inviting this joy to our heart, this love to our heart, inviting what feels good for your belly in this moment. We'll just take a moment of honoring our people, our gente that have come before us. Being able to see each other even from afar. So we'll go ahead and hold a moment. Gracias. Thank you. And, I want to invite these words that were shared last month, some of the words that came through of folks like that folks are carrying to continue in this organizing world, not just organizing world, but to continue to live and to be in this collective life together in solidarity. And some of those words of envisioning this love for hope and esperanza and joy in this collective work for liberation, folks shared around compassion, being compassionate with each other, being compassionate in this work for liberation, moving from a place of unity, right? What does unity feel like and look like when there's been harm, not just in the political climate, perhaps even in interpersonal relations, right? Perhaps even in this organization. What's the consistent healing of that? Comunidad, viviendo en comunidad, to be living in community. And this freedom to move and thinking of movement across these fronteras and really honoring this power of movement. And to be able to do so with this like libertary sense and this freedom sense, even when there's like stress and nervousness and worry and numbness, when we've lost like this somewhat a connection of feeling because of the overload. And so as we honor all of that, thinking of thinking of this focus for today of our heart and our belly, and the heart muscle is something I'm going to show you all a heart that I love to carry here, and I want to bring into this space to really honor how the heart is somewhat like the freeway, right? It's moving all of the emotions that we're carrying, and like the freeway that gets clogged with traffic, our corazon gets clogged with that worry and that stress and needing some like, all right, we need some smoothness. We need some like no traffic time, right? Those moments of feeling like ease and moving with ease. And the power that is this muscle, that the corazon, right? And wanting to love up on our heart in these moments where things can really make our heart feel tight. And with that tightness can lead to like, wait, am I breathing? And just I want us to hold a moment right now with our heart in connection to our pulse. And I'm gonna ask folks, thank you, the hierbitas. This I'm gonna just share because I love it too. This plantita here, this is called gordo lobo or molen. It's really good for the lungs. And we got some roses and some eucalyptus, and it's a good reminder for me, and for all of us to honor our corazon that is in this movement, right? Why do you do this work? Where is your heart in all of this? So I want us to just take a moment. Again, I'm gonna consistently go back to our corazon. Our camera kind of moves, but just to like bring in this connection to our heart and find our pulse here at the bottom of our thumb. So if you could take a moment to find your pulse at the bottom of your thumb. Somewhat it's like Sometimes it's like closer to your wrist. You don't feel it, it's there. We listen carefully. So you want to kind of, yeah, it's kind of a weird angle, but here you'll find that pulse. And once you have found this pulse, imagining our corazón pumping right now, just saying hello to our heart that has carried all of what's being shared, and that has capacity to hold so much love and compassion, radical hope, that has the capacity to hold love, unconditional love. So holding that pulse, thanking our heart. We're going to provide a few little taps there. Just these few little taps honoring some of that movement that we're calling for, that freedom to move. Bringing in that breath. So as we dive in, before we dive into this collective practice, I wanted to share a canción. And during this canto, we have our heart, and we know that the heart is beating, right? And this beat that we carry in our corazón is then carried within each other. And that collective heartbeat that we're moving through, and honoring the power that is música, right? And the music that perhaps that has been uplifting you. If you want to share some cantos or songs that you've been rocking with, that like this song has been with me right now, lifting me up, please write that down. I would love to know the cantos or the songs that have been moving with you during this time. And as I'm gonna share this canto, and in relation to our corazón and in relation to our voice, to continue this work and wanting to lift all of our voices, even in times of struggle and hardship. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this sacred drum. And I wanna shout out the Calpuli or community that I'm part of, Calpuli Iscali. And gracias to my maestra, Sonaí, Silvia, and wanting to invite this canto before we go into more of a practice of body-centered practice together. I hope that feels okay, and I hope everyone is drinking your agua. I'm gonna take a sip right now too. And if you feel called to sing, wherever you are, I'm gonna share the lyrics here in the chat. Hold on a second. And this song is called Tamborcito. And though I have the tamborcito here, we're gonna relate our tamborcito to our corazón. So honoring that breath, bringing it in, honoring the canto, the sacred song that we all carry in our belly, in our voice, in our heart. Tamborcito, tamborcito, ayúdame a cantar. Tamborcito, tamborcito, ayúdame a sanar. Tamborcito, tamborcito, do it one more time. Tamborcito, tamborcito, ayúdame a cantar. Tamborcito, tamborcito, ayúdame a sanar. Para que salga la voz, para que salga la voz, para que salga la voz y que llegue donde tiene que llegar. Al corazón de mi hermano, al corazón de mi hermana, al corazón de mi familia, al corazón, al corazón. Gracias, tamborcito. Thank you to the sacred drum. Thank you to the sacred drum that is in our corazón here. And in honoring this drum, this heartbeat, to sing our song, to heal collectively, to bring out our voice, to bring out our voice and to have our voice reach where it needs to be reached, where it needs to land. And if that is connected to so many different places where our voices should be and tremble in and to be heard, to our siblings, to our family, blood and chosen family, and honoring the muscle that is this corazón that that lives in each of us. And as we dive into this body practice and inviting this sacred drum, and thank you for allowing me to share this canción. I also want us to think of our collective drumming that happens on the streets, right? That happens on the streets collectively together. And gratitude to our corazón for having us move in this way. So as we go into this practice of using our manitas, we're gonna use our hands right now as a body-centered practice to honor our corazón and honor our belly. Our belly here, everything that is carried here and is carried in our corazón and in our mente. We're going to go ahead and start this practice together. If that feels good with everyone, if anyone has any comentarios in this moment that you want to share, please do. And this practice is for us to provide gentle touch for release, to provide gentle touch for honoring the vulnerability that has been shared collectively, and to provide gentle touch in the witnessing of our cuerpitos in these movement spaces, in this sacred circle, in your own self, when you see yourself in the mirror, when you mirror each other in collective spaces, when you give that hug, when you give a good hug and the corazón is touched, and you could feel that witnessing, that love, that care, and sometimes even filled with lágrimas and sadness, but to be able to hold each other even from afar. And as we go into this practice of some heart-centered, gentle touch, I invite everyone to think of this idea of esperanza and hope as nourishment. What nourishes you? What nourishes your familia, blood and chosen? What nourishes this new movement? What feeds it? Just like wood that feeds the fire for it to continue to warm us, to continue in this space. So inviting that nourishment to this space. So we're gonna start off. I don't know how my camera kind of moves, but we're gonna start off by just inviting your hands into this heart space, inviting a breath, imagining our corazón, and we're going to just do a few circles for this moment. As you're doing these circles around your heart, bringing in this nourishment of esperanza, of hope, inviting a spiral. So thinking of this power of spiral and when things continue in movement spaces, for the dialogue, for the movement, for the hope, for showing up to continue as freedom fighters, as magical beings, as elders, as siblings, creating this spiral around this corazon center. Inviting that breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Then we're gonna hold here. Bringing awareness to the cuerpito. And we're gonna move to our belly. As you hold your belly, inviting, you'll find your belly button, you know, that connection to the womb, right? So I guess you could see me here like that, or you'll see my belly for a second. Inviting that connection to the belly button, that connection to the womb. And you're gonna just go around a few circles around your belly button. Maybe it's wide circles. Bringing some awareness as you go around your belly button in a few circles and holding your heart. Thinking of our digestion, what we digest, what nourishes us. When we feel so much joy, how do our bellies feel? When we feel all this love in our belly, what does it feel like? And also when we carry that nervousness or tension, what does our bellies feel? So honoring all of that, and as you continue to go around in your belly, around your belly button, somewhat creating again a spiral for continuum. You're gonna kind of bring a little bit of like, what I like to do, like a little bit of cupping just around your belly. And if this feels at all uncomfortable, please do what feels comfortable to you. I know there can create vulnerability and just honoring your sacred, gentle touch. And we're gonna go ahead and do some wide masajito, wide touch, bringing in both of your hands, bringing in that breath. And then you're gonna go ahead and place your hand on your back and your belly. And I'm gonna invite us to do a little bit of tapping around our belly. Just kind of tap our belly a little bit. Tap our back. And asking yourself, what does this nourishment, how is it landing and tapping our belly again? Bringing it back. We're gonna go ahead and do some wider circles around our belly. Bringing in that breath. What are you noticing? So we're gonna just hold here over our belly button. Bringing in that breath. What's just some noticings right now as you invited your hands to touch you, to touch your belly, to touch your heart. Bringing into your third eye, some noticings. And you'll go ahead. I invite folks to share if you want in the chat some noticings that are coming up for you as you're taking time with the belly and the heart for some heart belly centered practice. And as folks take a moment, if you'd like to share, I invite everybody to drink some agua. And as you drink this agua, I invite you to close your eyes and just imagine it going around your corazon. Imagine the agua going into your belly, and how I named earlier how our corazon can feel like a traffic, right? Having this water create a little bit of that fluctuation and release. On this next sip of water, I'm gonna invite folks to just do a little bit of swishing, like use like kind of as if you're doing a mouthwash, and just like swish your mouth, honoring what's all up here in your jaw, in your gums, swishing, swishing, honoring your voice. Allowing that water to settle in the being, settle in the spirit, being able to honor the corazon, the heart that is in this movement space. And as we are slowly coming to a close in a little bit, wanting to invite folks to share what nourishes you, what nourishes the esperanza that you carry every day, what has nourished you, say this morning or yesterday, what's very recent in your heart and in your belly center that has supported you showing up here in this space and in the spaces that you go. So what is that nourishment? Yeah, it's your family and your dogs. Oh, your furry children. I don't have any furry children. This is like the closest I have to a furry child. A plant medicine. Yes, to the little ones, to the generation coming up that's present. Oh, thank you, Saha. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yeah, really wanting to honor the nourishment that you carry and honor the nourishment that our hands can provide to our being to continue every day. Just even holding our corazon and holding our belly at the same time and bringing in that collective breath. Sahako. Anyone else would like to share this as we're envisioning this collective bowl of like nourishment, of yumminess, of as we're entering like this sopita season, right? Um, and to nourish us to continue every day in this movement spaces, to continue to organize, to continue to show up and weave in this collective care, to see each other as a mirroring corazon corazon, to be able to hold the vulnerability, the tenderness, and the power that is to coming together across this nation under this umbrella of United We Dream and the other entities that you're connected to. So thank you to those who've been sharing your nourishment. I love to see it and witness it and imagine it. And this power that is ease. And I love to carry these words, con calma y sin prisa. To move con calma is like moving easefully. And sin prisa, to not rush, you know, where sometimes it's like, okay, what's the next thing? All right, this notice has come. What do we have to do? And within all of that, to bring in ease through our breath. Oh, yes, to your gatito, that connection. Thank you, Violeta. And, you know, as a practitioner in these different spaces, I thank y'all for writing this with me and together and to flowing in these different ways. And how this practice can also be so accessible as you're sitting in your car at the traffic light, as you're waiting for the bus, as you're in circle in your local community organizing circle, getting ready to go to the calles, right? Um, yes, thank you, Wendy. Thinking of that relation to love and body, to caress your heart, your belly, your back, and all of the words that were first shared of what you're carrying, how that lands in the cuerpo, how that lands in the body and where it lands. So thinking of that continuum to show up in all these spaces that see you and hold you, and spaces that don't see you and hold you, and you still show up for those who have come before and those who are coming after you. And I think that's where the weaving is, to moving with this sense of like radicalism, right? To continue with esperanza, with hope, with joy, where it doesn't feel so far away, you know? And it feels like I have this in my pocket right now, and and the pocket is these manos or this agua and these gatitos, right? Or these furry friends, the siblings. I love seeing, I think this is your sibling, Abed. And being able to hold them close and to hold our people close. So just wanting to name that, and thank you all for sharing your nourishment. Yes, exactly. We get to. And in the mix of this current, past, and future political climate, we are the ones to continue to fight for each other. But in this way of, you know, liberación or liberation and fighting for freedom, you know, being able to weave in these plantita, hierbita friends, because we are connected to the earth, to the wind, to the sky, to the fuego, to the elements that hold us, and being able to show up in this way of honoring ourselves. And that's somewhat that I wanted to share today, is to do this body practice, to bring in a canto, to also see each other and hold space together. And if at any point folks want to share verbally from how you walked into what you feel right now, inviting you to share your palabras, what has shifted in the past hour together.
Yeah, I encourage folks to jump off mute, share how you're feeling, as opposed to when we first started. Also, the chat is open for that as well.
Yeah. And the steam that I shared, we'll be sharing resources. I'll be sharing someone like a how-to do your steam for your casita, and wanting to, you know, invite this collective suspiro always, if that's you know, if that's just the palabra, the sound that you want to share. Oh, yay. Yay to your sister. Thank you. Yeah. Gracias. Gracias, Jasmine. Thank you. I hope as you move into your evening practice or dinner time, as you continue this week and this season, to bring it to this practice, to honor your pulse, honor your heart, um, and how you move with your heart in all of these spaces as organizers. To show up for each other in this way is so important. And being able to advocate for that, to be able to hold each other in these ways. Gracias. Diane, thank you.
Thank you, Landis.
You're
Beautiful.
welcome.
Yes, if we can extend our gratitude, give Landy some flowers on the chat. I definitely know I started this session with a lot in my mind, and I'm feeling a lot more centered and also tired. I'm like, hey, I noticed I was tired. So, for the remainder of the night, just I invite you all to continue processing, honoring yourselves, your needs. And beyond, right? Every single day is an opportunity for us to reclaim our full humanity, our full selves, right? We don't have to wait for politicians to allow us to experience our full humanity. We get to dictate that for ourselves. And thank you, Landis, for allowing us to tap into practices that are indigenous, that are free, right? That exist outside of capitalism, that are in our ancestry, because all of us have a lineage of healers in our communities. And so thank you, Landis, for really also centering our bodies, right? Because our bodies are digesting it all, folks. So yeah, thank you. I'm gonna soak in all of these learnings, and I hope you do too.
Gracias everyone for sharing. Before we, as you move into the next piece, I want to invite folks, as we're all these florecitas that are coming in this collective space, to open up your arms. Open up your arms really wide, opening up this heart center. We're gonna open it up, bringing up that stretch, that breath, and we're gonna bring in a big abrazo, a big hug to ourselves. Yes. Gratitude, and sending a big besos and love to our people who are in the spiritual realm, or are en route to home, or are en route to their work, family, all of that. So sending all of the besos and cariño to our people. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Landis. Feeling all of that, feeling my heart. We are honoring our hearts today. And so with that, Yasmin, if I can please share the screen. I know we're at time, but if you all can just stick around for a few minutes, we'll be done very shortly. Sweet. We will be sharing the presentation with you all, so you can have this little toolkit accessible. If we can move to the next slide, Yasmin. Yeah, and so I want to, continue to uplift that we will continue to have spaces like these. I think it's so important, right, especially as we get ready for 2024, to really, really embody this radical liberation, right, that we're talking about. And so the UndocuHealth program, I'm here to support you. Landis is here. United We Dream is here. And so we have created resources that are accessible to you all, including our SMS program, in which you can get mental health reminders every month. I'm gonna go ahead and add the links to the chat. So I also added the web page, folks. We have a bunch of different cool resources on our web page too, including, you know, toolkits, videos. We also have our mental health directory. So if you are someone that is looking for therapy and you don't have access to health insurance, we have our mental health directory made up of therapists willing to support us regardless of insurance. So take advantage of that resource. And, you know, continue to stay connected with us. I'm also going to add my email on the chat. And I also added a feedback form. We will continue to create spaces like this, but your feedback is super necessary for us to build these spaces, right? And make sure that we are creating content that is useful and that is powerful for you all. So your feedback would be super appreciated for this session. Aside from that, I think we have gotten to the end. You will receive an email with all of the practices, including the song that Landis sang, the heart and belly practice. We will be sending all of those via email. So stay tuned. And then we also have a sticker that's gonna go out. So very excited. Make sure you all like take a photo and post it on your IGs of your sticker. Yeah, so we've gotten to the end of our time, folks. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure we'll see each other again soon. And again, thank you for being here.